everyone, it's Esti, and today we are going to talk about my favorite movie of 2016. So first things first, guys, Happy New Year, and I'm so sorry that I couldn't upload a new video before New Year's, but I got just really sick right before New Year's Eve, and I still had to work. And for New Year's Eve, I traveled to the countryside to visit my best friend, and I just didn't want to spend our time together with like recording a video. So yeah, it was just really unlucky, I guess. But I'm just so happy that 2016 is finally over, because it was a horrendous year, to be honest. But yeah, so let's jump to our movie. Alright, so my favorite movie is not the best movie of 2016, and I know that, alright, I know that. We had many really great movies throughout 2016, and many of them was actually better movie-wise than the one I picked. But that's okay, because, you know, this is not about the best movie of 2016, this is about my favorite of those movies. And just to be fair, I still haven't seen La La Land, and I really want to see that. And also I will just watch Rogue One tonight, so yeah, but I'm pretty sure that it won't change anything, because this was just my favorite.
It's easy to get lost in the vastness of space. There's only yourself, your ship, your crew.
You really want to head back out there, huh?
So as you can see, it's Star Trek Beyond, and I just really love this movie, to be fair, because it was really brave. I'm not really a Trekkie, because I haven't watched the TV show. I mean, I've seen a couple of episodes, but I'm not a hardcore fan. I am a fan of the new movies, and probably it's like fake, but I don't really care about that. What is really important about Star Trek and its 50 years old history is that it was always for representation. If you just look at the original cast, Star Trek is a movie and it was a TV show that pressed on being equal. It doesn't really matter what race you are, and by race I don't mean your skin color, but like, you know, there are like aliens in it, and we are all equal and we are all capable of a lot of things. But as far as representation in an age, this wasn't really a thing. This TV show had people of color characters, which is just really great. And of course it is historic, of course it meant so much for so many people, because it represented that no matter what's the color of your skin, you can be anyone you want to be. And I really think that the new movies are representing the same thing, especially this last one. And we have Simon Pegg and Doug Young, if I pronounce his name right, to thank that, because they wrote the screenplay, and Simon Pegg is also playing Scotty, and he is a hardcore Star Trek fan as far as I know. So they wrote this really amazing screenplay, and just to be fair, I was really afraid what will happen with this movie, because I really love J.J. Abrams and he was in charge for the first two movies, and this one went for Justin Lin, who was also directing the Fast and Furious movies, and I'm not a fan of those. That is that. But it turned out to be this really amazing thing, and it was just so new and so brave. So the story is about the USS Enterprise crew going over the borders of the known universe. So they are going to places where no one had ever stepped before, which is just really cool. But also it means isolation. They are on this 5-year mission. When our movie starts, they are 3 years into the 5, and they are just isolated from the rest of the world. And it wears down especially James T. Kirk, who is the captain of the USS Enterprise. And this was the first brave thing in this movie. Finally, it wasn't about Jim being this insecure little child whose only talent is getting under skirts, because that was just so annoying. This character is so good. He could have been so deep from the beginning, and they were just wasting time on him. And finally in this one, it was about a person who is kind of lost in this isolation, kind of lost in his own head and on his way. And that's a thing we all experience at some point of our life. It doesn't matter what gender we are. So it was something I could relate, actually, especially last year, because I faced something like that in my personal life. So that was really great. The second thing that was brave in the writing is that they kind of separated the usual pairings, the usual characters who are spending time together, and they brought into the front line all those characters who are usually not as highlighted, and put them next to other always highlighted characters, such as like Bones and Spock's friendship. It was really characterized in this movie, and I was just so happy. I really loved Carl Urban, so I was like, thank God that Bones is getting the highlight he deserves. And it was, for example, the same for Uhura and Sulu, Mr. Sulu, who are usually either on the bridge or like Uhura is with Spock, and now they were together. They got kidnapped basically, and they spent time together in this refugee camp, and you can just get to know them a bit more than before. And as for Jim, he teamed up with Chekhov, who is one of my favorite characters in this whole universe. And also back in the 60s, I think it was really important that finally a Russian character who was not from the Avil when there was the Cold War going on. So yeah, that's again a really good example for representation throughout the 50 years of Star Trek. So yeah, we got these unusual team-ups, and I think that's really brave, because it's something entirely different from the other Star Trek adaptations, movies, TV shows, whatever. And the third and probably the bravest thing that Simon Pegg pulled was showing Mr. Sulu as a gay character. So I know they've got a lot of shit because of this move, and I really don't care, because I think that is really, really great. I've seen a lot of interviews with Simon Pegg about this topic, and I understand why they choose Mr. Sulu for this role. It's because if they put a new character into the series and then they are just like, hey, we already have like a gay character too, isn't that amazing? That would have been... So instead of doing that, they choose Mr. Sulu and introduced him as a gay character. It wasn't really that huge of a thing in the movie. You've just got a glimpse of him and his family, and instead of a wife, he has got a husband with a tiny girl as a child. It was literally 20 seconds. So yeah, and still Simon Pegg got all the shit because of that move, while I can totally understand why he did what he did. And I think it's totally reasonable, and I'm really happy that they just didn't put a new forced character into the story just for the sake of having someone gay in it. I picked this movie as my favorite because it was also a memento kind of thing. Mostly because the Star Trek crew has lost two really important people, and I think that this movie was something that can honor the memories. And of course I'm talking about Leonard Nimoy, the original Spock, and Anton Yelchin, who was playing Chekhov and who died 2016 really suddenly. It was a hard year for the Star Trek crew, and I think that they created a movie they can be really proud of. So yeah. As far as this story goes, it's probably really not that original. That's why I said, of course, it's not the best movie of 2016, but it was still something I could enjoy wholeheartedly. I really loved it. I loved the music. I loved the new characters. I really loved how there was no forced relationship lines. There was a new woman character, and she didn't fall for Jim Kirk, which is again a new thing in this movie. Like, Jayla was a really well-built character, and also Sofia Boutella, who played her, was just amazing and stunning in this role. And I really loved how her relationship with Scotty was like highlighted, because it was a really nice touch with this girl who lost her family, find this kind of uncle figure in Scotty, who was also a genius just like her, so they could like relate. And I just really love that about this movie. And yeah, Star Trek is just amazing. I'm really happy that I got into the new movies, and probably sometimes in the future I will give a chance of the old ones too. I do like the original crew of the Star Trek movies. I do love the original crew of the Star Trek series and franchise, so yeah. I honestly think that it is like way underrated, and I don't know. I know it is different, but we should just finally open up our hearts and minds and accept new and different things, because you know, this is just what Star Trek is about. And yeah, we should just enjoy that. We should just enjoy that Star Trek is different. It was always different, and probably it will be always different, and I think that is just amazing. Alright you guys, so this was my favorite movie from 2016. We still have my favorite anime and my favorite TV show left from last year. I have many things planned even after my favorites of 2016 series, mostly comic related stuff and like geeky stuff, so please stay tuned. I hope that your 2017 started off great, and that it will be great in the next 360 days. Alright, so I usually don't say this, but there is a first for everything. If you liked my video, please subscribe, and also you will find all of my social media in the description below. And by that I mean my Twitter, Instagram, and also my League of Comic Geeks account, so you can see what I'm reading at the moment and what do I enjoy. Thanks for watching me, as always. Stay safe, take care, and see you in my next video. Bye. And look at what I got from Santa Claus. Joyride!